You're not too late. If you've missed the start of the bull market because you've been listening to certain YouTubers tell you that the bull market is not on for the next 2 years because of something called Bitcoin dominance, well guys, you're now in the right place, and I'm going to guide you in this video to act fast on what we need to be doing next to be able to catch this first move. I'm going to explain what this first move is going to look like and which coins will be benefiting the most from it, building a short-term portfolio from it. If that sounds good, hit the like button. And let's get into today's video. Now guys, if you're subscribed, you would have been paying attention to what's been going on with Bitcoin since pretty much the start of the year, where I've been telling you over and over again, we are in a bull market. Now we've seen a very aggressive push in the last few weeks, which has come off the back of some fairly positive news and expectation about a Bitcoin ETF or exchange traded fund. Now, whatever the news may be, there's certain people across the internet who've been calling this stuff through the year along with me, and here's a particularly interesting chart I want you to pay attention to, which is brought to us from El Crypto Prof over on Twitter, where you can see that after each of these patterns over the last few bull markets, we've had a bounce and then we've moved up to the next shoulder line, which would bring us to a minimum of $48,000 in the near term. That could easily happen before the end of the year, and don't believe me, you've only got to go back and look at the chart and see that just a couple of weeks ago we were sat at 26k with everyone begging for it to go back down to 10 so they could buy again. So why is 48k such a significant number? Well, as you look into the Bitcoin chart, 48k sits here. Now what basically is there is that previous line of resistance that kind of kept us down, and we had lines of support and resistance there. Now, if you've been paying attention at all in the last week, then you would have noticed that certain coins have been absolutely ripping towards the upside. Certain favorites of this channel, Solana, as well as Near Protocol, which we talked about just last week, which we weren't expecting to perform quite as well as Solana, but is also having a great time. INJ, which we covered yesterday. But there are other coins on here that haven't had such a good time in this last week or so. And what I'm reluctant to do is to direct you towards coins that have been ripping up today, such as Solana, etc. And there's a reason for that. As you can see here at 6:50 p.m. in the UK time, I just said that I was selling about 50% of my Solana position. So why was I doing that? Well guys, because you can see at 6:50 p.m. we started to identify that Solana had run into significant resistance and was starting to see a little bit of a sell-off. Now I do anticipate Solana having a phenomenal bull run and moving towards the upside, but I don't want to be stuck in coins forever when they're pulling back 20-30% after seeing a very good upside. I'm going to take my profits and move it into other coins. And that's why it's a good time right now, even if you've not had exposure, to look at what will move next. Now Solana's been pumping, while Bitcoin has been kind of going sideways. And as we now start to see Bitcoin picking up again, you're starting to see Solana tail off again. That's interesting. That shows that people are taking profits out of coins like Solana and putting them back into Bitcoin, in my opinion. Now, I get it, guys. You're not Michael Saylor. You might not have hundreds of billions of dollars to be buying Bitcoin, so it's hardly going to get your heart racing. Obviously, unless you're an XRP holder, in which case you're probably writing a tweet talking about what car you're going to go and buy next with all that money you're going to be making with those massive XRP bags that you're holding. So what we need to realize is now that Bitcoin is breaking up and having this good push in the last 4 hours, is which coins are also looking very bullish right now that are also pumping at the same time Bitcoin is. We can jump onto the 1 hour chart to see that just a couple of hours ago we saw this significant push. So which other coins are seeing a significant push around there? Well, you can see there is one that has caught my eye, and that is Chainlink. Now, why is Chainlink catching my eye? Well, in a video that I made last week about Chainlink, I talked about some interesting stuff that was going on with the chain. And yesterday, in the video that we looked at with INJ and Solana, we talked about things that were leading up to those coins seeing very good upside pushes. Now, I used this De.fi Moki tool from June.com yesterday, and I also used it before. Here we've got the code for Chainlink, and we got over the last 30 days. You can see there was a big accumulation of wallets when we saw some growth in Chainlink, and now you've seen a bit of a dip, and now you're seeing wallets being accumulated again. And look at the overall wallet accumulation that's happening. 1,247 wallets being accumulated just today. And then we go and pull out a bit on this chart, and what you can see is we had an ascending triangle. We pull down, we fake out, and then we rip in the other direction. This for me is showing me that I think Chainlink's going to have a very quick push higher up towards the upside. So yes, if I was to have lots of money, and I wanted to maybe just make a few percentage gains and maybe aim for a 48k Bitcoin, then right now I would be aiming for a Bitcoin or Ethereum dominated wallet. I still think Ethereum is undervalued and will gain against Bitcoin because of Ben Cowan's Bitcoin dominance stuff, but also because when we see the path to altcoin season, we know we get Bitcoin pushing Ethereum in the large caps, and then we start to trickle down. Link will fit into that kind of large cap matrix. So if it hasn't been pumping through these last few days, well, it's due a good pump if Bitcoin continues to the upside. There's obviously no guarantee of that though. So don't just go and put your money into it and then tomorrow you're down like 2% and then just go and have a complete meltdown and go and jump into my comments and tell me that I was wrong. It's up to you guys, okay? I'm just going to show you the evidence that's supporting my kind of idea around this, all right? So, Chainlink, looking bullish, breaking in here. Are we going to get rejected? I think we're going to have a good push. That will take us somewhere up towards around 13%. Look, guys, here it is. If we jump back to here, we could roll over, and you might be like talking about this COVID crash. Many people are still waiting for that Black Swan event. I think maybe they're starting to give up. Might still happen. You might get lucky. But, you know, we are going to have a bit of time where Bitcoin is pushing up higher, and you've got this kind of early chance to maybe see like a 2x, a 3x, okay? That's what we're really trying to sort out with the portfolio right now, because we're not trying to get those 20 or 30x's right now. Remember, we've got potentially years of this. We need to be smart. We need to get ourselves off the ground, off running, because you've been left behind a bit because you've not been DCAing in this year. If you have been DCAing in this year, then congratulations. So yes, in the shorter term, I realistically can anticipate that potentially we can see Chainlink going up a good 53% to around this sort of level, this neckline here. If Bitcoin is pushing towards 48k, then I wouldn't be surprised to see Chainlink pushing up around 137%. That's more than double your money, and that's potentially a great return on your investment. Whether or not it happens will be yet to see. But you don't need to go too exotic right now. So if you'd missed out on Chainlink, which other coins could we anticipate having a good bit of growth? Well, there's other ecosystems that are growing aggressively right now, and something else I've been paying attention to is this. And that is the popularity of Avalanche, which has been growing really relentlessly over the last few weeks. And yes, you can see that in the last day we have had a tiny little dip of about 200 less followers. However, I'm noticing it more and more being mentioned in various different discussion groups, and if you look at the chart, we have a similar build up to what's been going on in Chainlink. Now, what we considered before in Chainlink and other coins is the amount of development that's been going on through the bear market that's been really positive. We've seen coins going from strength to strength, and we started to see whales accumulating these different coins. And as we look into Avalanche, we've got a very exciting looking chart. Now, not that exciting if you've just been holding Avalanche ever since the top, but now you're subscribed to this channel, you're not going to be one of those diamond hand legends who just sits there and holds coins forevermore, because you actually want to make money and not just sit around telling people how hard you are for your ability to not make profits. But what we can see is this trend is breaking. This trend that we've been sat in since the 12th of May 2022. And you know what happens when a trend breaks, especially when you see Bitcoin's dominance starting to top out, things looking even more exciting. We are destined, I think, for a break in Avalanche to potentially more exciting levels than maybe we've seen in Chainlink. Yeah, we've had a little push recently. We're running into a bit of resistance, but a push there, 32%. Could we be breaking up around 81% and even all the way up around 154% should things heat up a little bit with Bitcoin? I absolutely think so. Avalanche gets the go ahead as far as I'm concerned. Now, another one that is a little bit more kind of scary in that it is a smaller market cap and has already seen a bit of a push already this year is Veracity. But as you can see, this was earlier on this year. It's fairly evident that we are in some form of a symmetrical triangle or some sort of fancy little triangle thing going on. And I do think that right now we are trying to break it. If we break beyond there, we know that Veracity has the ability to pump very, very hard, very, very quickly. If I was to be building a portfolio from scratch right now, and I was to be able to kind of like diversify it using kind of bigger coins to take up a bigger percentage of this, well, I would then be maybe using a smaller percentage to put towards something like Veracity. If it was my money, I might be looking at a 5%, maybe a 10% if I was looking for something particularly juicy. ICP, which I've been talking about all year, even though a lot of people don't like it, a lot of people didn't like Solana when I talked about it at the beginning of the year either, and those people have all seemingly disappeared. And I'm not saying I'm going to be right about everything, because for sure I'm not. But ICP right now looks pretty interesting. And I tell you what else looks interesting, and that is this particular token right here, which you can see being talked about here by CZ from Binance, Andrew Kang, and many other huge names in crypto. Now, you may have seen ICOs not looking particularly interesting recently, particularly because we've been in a bear market, but projects that have been backed by venture capital that was the same money that was behind SpaceX and Tesla caught my attention. Once you get ICOs that are promising at the end of a bear market into a bull market, you could well have a very different reaction from how they perform in a bear market, particularly if they've already partnered up with the likes of Binance and will already be almost guaranteed listings on all of the major exchanges. This particular ICO has caught my attention, and if you want to find out more about it, it's linked down below. Not only has it caught my attention because of the star-studded crowd that are behind and backing this project, but also because of what they're doing. They're trying to move people into Web3. As you were probably aware, very few people are able to interact and understand crypto. Tons of people who are in crypto still manage to get scammed and have all these other problems. What De.fi 2.0 is offering is an all-in-one super app that allows people to scan smart contracts to see if they're safe. It also has a shield to protect people from making bad trades. There's a dashboard that's extremely easy to use, whether you're new to crypto or not. You can interact with AI in the platform, seeking advice within crypto, and so many other different features that are making this a very exciting prospect indeed. They already have 3 million active users from the last bull market and are hoping to achieve 10 million active users during the next bull market. This is a project that's been up and running for a little bit, and we're bringing in a utility token which you'll be able to invest in, and I'll explain how to do that in just a moment. And that's going to enable you to interact with the platform and offer various other opportunities such as yield farming and much, much more. They have real world cards and so many other things that are definitely worth checking out. And I'm bringing this to you because there's just a few days left in the pre-sale at the current prices. There will be a few rounds going, and each time they have been raising money extremely fast, so do not miss out. If you are interested, obviously do your own research. This is not financial advice. I'm not telling you to buy anything. It's just something I think it's worth paying attention to. As well as that, if you want to go and invest, use that link down below. It will bring you across and you'll be able to secure this 29 cents a token. That's with a 4-month daily linear vesting, or you can get the 30% release at the token generation event. All you need to do is connect a wallet. You can use a MetaMask, and you can use a bunch of different chains because, of course, this super app for Web3 is allowing cross-chain payments and so many other different aspects. So getting back into the video, what else are we paying attention to? Well, guys, simply, as I've told you, we're not going overly crazy in what we need to be paying attention to right now. We want to be paying attention to the charts more than anything, and particularly to coins that have been building heavily during the bear markets. Ones that are big market caps already, because they will tend to see a flow of money earlier than you will see in the smaller cap coins. Matic, I'm also paying attention to because of the way the chart looks. Literally, as we talk, we are potentially going to be breaking in the next hour, perhaps day or two, this downtrend, which we've been into the top of the bear market. If this breaks and you see Bitcoin going to 48k, imagine that you could see Matic pushing around 132%, maybe even higher. And I know that you're like, 132%, 200% is nothing. Guys, if you've not been achieving your like kind of 200, 300% before Christmas, then this is how you need to do it, in my opinion. Because right now, if you've only got $100 or $1,000 or $10,000 or whatever your only is, then we need to get that bag a little bit bigger so that you can start playing a little bit more risky. Then we get to the bigger, badder 100Xs that will come out in the next 6 to 18 months. These are just, in my opinion, some fairly solid suggestions for what I think will be pumping in the month of November and maybe, if we're lucky, into December. So there you have it, guys. Chainlink, I've got my eye on. I think it's going to be doing quite well. I've been buying, and I will continue to accumulate at these levels. If we see a big pump, then maybe I'll start to take some profits off the table and then start to look into something else. Avalanche, I quite like the look of. It's been building heavily through the bear market, as has Matic, and as have a few others that I haven't mentioned today. So don't be upset if I haven't mentioned your crypto girlfriend. Guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, do me a favor, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, and I'll see you next time tomorrow with another video. Bye-bye.